So those who are attending from other classes, I think you are halfway through the Roll of Thunder, right? You guys have started, because I checked with Dr. Mohsen. I don't know about Dr. Arwa's classes.
We
So are you
took it,
doing?
doctor,
Oh, okay. So
from
you're
Dr.
halfway
Arya.
through. Yeah, nice. You finished, you mean?
Yes.
That's nice. So you finished everything, right, Yarad? Okay, interesting. How about Dr. Mohsen's people and classes? Are you halfway through? You finished? So you'll be doing
Doctor,
all the talking. Yeah, Noor, go ahead.
we are halfway through.
Yeah, nice. Which means that you guys are going to do all the talking tonight, right? Okay. So you know more than I do about the novel, right? Yeah, you know, right? Okay. So what's your overall impression about it? Let's talk about it. Nice, dry, poignant, relatable in any way. Yeah, let's talk about that. Okay.
I
This
think
is
it's very
actually,
sad.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So I would use the word poignant when something is it you feel it deep. Yeah, when it has such a profound effect on you. I mean, when you leave the book and you feel saddened, overwhelmed, right? Yeah, yeah. This is pretty much what I felt. Um, yeah, we'll talk about this and other stuff. Let me just see whether I have. Yeah, we're going to start again, like we always do. Let's talk about yeah, not totally outside the scope of what we're doing, because this is all, culture, and this is all raising your awareness about life, especially so because you're leaving us, right? So we're trying to make sure that you guys are, you guys have all, um, the what? Um, all the cultural ammunition that you need to face up to the grand and larger reality outside. And one idea that I would like to address myself to tonight, very briefly, we're not going to spend obviously the rest of our lives talking about it, is the idea of keeping to the golden mean, um, moderation, being moderate, in whatever whatever attitudes you're even adopting in life. So keeping to the golden mean. Golden mean means that you don't uh, um, kind of deal with stuff in extreme ways. You're not too flexible, and you're not too inflexible. I mean, that's it's always good to be to have this kind of balance in your reactions, in your attitudes. And of course, we have this in Islam. I mean, the idea of wasatiyya and i'tidal. But do you think that you're a centrist when it comes to issues, when it comes to views about life, attitudes? So, what kind of person are you? Did you ask yourself this question? Are you a centrist? Are you right wing? Right wing means that you take extreme positions on issues? Are you perhaps a left leaning? Left leaning is the complete opposite. So where do you stand on issues? How? I mean, let's talk about your mental processes when you think about an issue. How do you handle it? Are you the kind of person that react and then think, or the kind of person who think and then react? Have you ever caught yourself thinking about how you react to stuff? Let's talk about that.
For me, doctor, I when I face an issue, I started to before I think I start to know others, especially my family, opinions
Yeah,
on
nice.
this kind of issue, and
Mm,
then started to select the best ways and to find a better solution for this problem. And yes, and I reacted after that.
that's interesting. I mean, the idea of, having people, I mean, soliciting the views and opinions of others. You're very participatory in this case, I mean, which is obviously very good. Who else and what else? Who else is perhaps doing the same thing? Some people are independent. They normally don't ask. They don't consult, or perhaps they consult after they have done all the soul searching. They did everything on their own, and then perhaps before they take that decision, they consult. But consultation is not a priority. So let's talk about you guys. Let's talk to or with Sufana and Noor and everybody else.
If for me personally, I used to be very reactive,
Mm.
explosive to an extent,
Hmm.
but in recent years, I've managed to listen to the what others were telling me about my response because I've
Mm.
asked. And you notice that there are certain faults that you have to work upon. And thankfully, alhamdulillah, God has blessed me to manage to be more centered and calm when it comes to that. And there has been a very positive change. I'm no longer as reactive as I used to be, and I take a moment before responding. I don't need to raise my voice as I used to before. So I feel like I have gained a lot more control on that version of myself.
That's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's liberating in a way to not be driven by one's emotion, and that brings you power. That gives you power.
Yeah, I'll give everyone, this is a gift for everyone. You know that I have a YouTube channel and I keep uploading stuff. And
Yes.
I have a section on self-development. I'll share it with you. You're going to like it. I mean,
Thank you.
it
I
can,
always
yeah,
like these
yeah,
kind of things.
yeah, very interesting. And I mean, I learn a thing or two every day. Um, yeah, Noor, you wanted to share. Come to the mic.
Yes, doctor. For myself, I react before I think. This is unfortunately, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm controlling it, يعني,
Mm,
but
mm.
still, it's very bad habit because I get angry too fast. So when
It
someone being
doesn't, I mean,
racist
you
to
don't
me,
look like it. It's, I mean, yeah, judging from the quality of your voice, I came to think that you're, mashallah, Hadia, quite
no,
that.
sorry. I'm not.
uh,
Sorry to
um,
disappoint you. But over the years, I think that the reaction of people,
mm,
because I lived in like four Arabian
mm,
countries, so
mm,
the reaction made me have this like limits or cautious from people, because sometimes racism, like this story, it's really powerful in Arabian countries. So when they
Is it
see someone
powerful, or
different,
perhaps, I mean, again, it's this idea of overreacting. Don't you think, Noor? Because I
maybe
lived
I
also,
take things personally when
yeah,
someone tell me. Uh, maybe
oversensitivity,
because
perhaps.
maybe some people think that this is normal, but it's not normal. When somebody tell me, do you think that you have the money to pay in this shop like this? You feel like, why you are judging me by my
Yeah,
appearance?
this is
So you
arrogance, but these
decided.
are, I
So
think
this is
these are
racism.
like it's incidents that do not happen often
Usually,
or perhaps every
I
day,
hope so.
right?
I hope. I hope so. I hope so. I hope we will change, because even in my country. I'm a local, and then we meet those people. يعني, this
Yeah,
is,
but so
yeah,
it's universal. It's not exclusive to
universal.
certain cultures, right?
Of course, of course, of course.
Yeah, yeah. Well, which is good and
Unfortunately,
bad. We're
but but you see
we're
it more,
trying
doctor,
to
in
defend the culture, but obviously we're entangling all the cultures in it, right?
you see it more, unfortunately, in Arabian countries. I only visited Great Britain, but it was I didn't feel like I am someone inferior, and they didn't let me feel that. They treat me the same as others.
Yeah,
Yeah.
perhaps you didn't live there long enough.
صح صح. Yes. Yes. True.
Yeah,
True.
yeah,
Thank you, doctor. Thank you.
yeah. Thank you, Noor. Um, Anybody else? Nagwa was raising her hand.
Yes, doctor. For me, I'm an overthinker. So usually I overthink everything that happens in my life, and then I can come up with the solution, and nobody would know that I went through all this stages.
You
I
mean you
solve
think it's
everything by
so
myself.
that's good. I mean, thinking is fine, but obviously overthinking is not. Overthinking is like overfishing, like over over what else? I mean, whatever is over is obviously over, right? Um,
Yes,
yeah,
it's mentally exhausting, يعني.
yeah.
But the good part is I seem to be happy and okay
But
with
yeah, I
everything
mean,
that's happening.
let me get this straight. You're an overthinker, not what do they call it? You're not somebody who hesitates and doesn't do anything because
No, no,
you get entangled in this idea of thinking, rethinking, overthinking, and you end up doing nothing like Hamlet, for example. If
no. I
Hamlet taught us
overthink
anything, it
to
taught
do
us,
something,
uh, yeah,
to
nice.
take the solution that's needed
Mm,
in this situation. يعني. And
that's
sometimes, for
nice.
example, I feel like someone tell me something that I didn't like, but then I overthink it. I think it still think of it so much until I realize that it's not that big of a deal, and they probably just didn't mean to be
Yeah,
rude or
so
anything.
you're obviously confusing between overthinking and being overly sensitive, right?
Could be, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm very sensitive also.
Mhm. Yeah, but I mean, years can teach us all a lesson or two. I'm sure you, I mean, you have your 50 years ahead of you, but you'll learn a lot. Anybody else before we move on? Yeah, I think I generated something about this idea of wasatiyya and i'tidal. I haven't tested it yet, but let's test it together. How about that? Let me see whether it finished or not. Yeah, obviously it did. Let's listen, and then I'm sure you're going to like it because AI never failed me, at least until now. I don't know what the future holds. But let's do it. Are you ready? Raise your hand. Nice. This is not bad.
You know, in our
Can you hear that? Raise your hand if you can hear
Yes,
it.
we can hear it.
Oh, okay, nice. Let's do it.
crazy, hectic lives, I think we're all searching for the same thing: balance. That feeling where work and health and our spiritual lives aren't constantly fighting each other. But what if I told you the key to this personal balance is actually written into the very fabric of the universe? What if the cosmos itself is our greatest teacher on how to live? Just think about it for a second. On the grandest scale imaginable, the planets are all in this precise, calculated dance, never colliding. The tides come in and go out with this unwavering rhythm. The seasons shift, one after the other, in perfect order. It's all held together by this delicate, almost impossible equilibrium. Now, in the Islamic tradition, this whole cosmic principle actually has a name: al-Atidal. It means to stand straight, to be symmetrical, to be just. It's this really profound idea that the universe isn't just balanced, it's a model of perfect justice. Okay, so that's the big question, isn't it? It's one thing to look up at the stars and admire their harmony. But how do we bring that feeling down to earth, into our own messy, unpredictable lives? Well, the answer isn't about trying to copy the stars, but about understanding a sister concept to al-Adil. And that answer is something called al-Wasatiyah, the middle path. But to really truly grasp it, we have to completely redefine what we think the middle actually means. This slide right here is so important because it really challenges our normal way of thinking. When we hear moderation, our minds kind of go to average, right? Or maybe even mediocre. But in Arabic, the root word wasat is absolutely packed with positive meaning. It means the best, the fairest, the most choice part of something. It's not about being lukewarm, it's about hitting the absolute sweet spot. Here's a great way to picture it. Think of an archer. They aren't aiming for the edge of the target, are they? No way. They're aiming for the dead center, the wasat, because that is the point of excellence. That's the bullseye. In this whole philosophy, the middle is the goal. And this idea is so central that the Quran actually describes the ideal community as an ummatan wasata, a middle nation. Now, this isn't a call to be passive or wishy-washy. It's a call to the difficult, disciplined art of staying centered, of refusing to be pulled into fanaticism on one side or complete carelessness on the other. All right, so abstract ideas are great, but a good story makes them real. There's a famous incident from the life of the Prophet Muhammad that shows exactly what this discipline looks like in practice. So the story goes that 3 men, wanting to be as pious as possible, made these really extreme vows. One said he'd sacrifice all sleep for prayer, another would sacrifice all food for fasting, and the third decided he would sacrifice all human connection. They basically believed that more is always better. But when the Prophet heard what they were planning, he corrected them with this incredibly simple but profound statement. He showed them that his path, the ideal path, wasn't about rejecting the world, but about perfectly integrating the spiritual with the human. And from that one simple correction came this huge principle. True devotion isn't about neglecting parts of your life, it's about giving every single part its due right. Your relationship with God has a right, for sure, but guess what? So does your body, so does your family. Balance is really just justice for all the different parts of who you are. So, how does this ancient wisdom apply to us today? In our hyper-connected, always-on 21st century lives, where the pressure to go to extremes is literally everywhere, well, it turns out it's more relevant than ever. We can apply this principle in at least 3 huge arenas of our lives. Intellectually, it's about being open to new ideas without, being so open-minded your brain falls out. Digitally, it's using all this amazing technology to connect, but also having the wisdom to disconnect to save our sanity. And emotionally, it's about the fine art of character. The great scholar Ibn al-Qayyim explained this so brilliantly. Let's take a trait like courage. It's actually the golden mean, the wasat, between 2 vices. If you have too little of it, you've got cowardice. But if you push it way too far, it becomes recklessness. The virtue, the bullseye, is right there in the center. And this brings us to the really crucial idea of sustainability. See, the middle path isn't about some grand, heroic gesture that you can only do once. This teaching emphasizes that what's truly valued is consistency. Small, steady actions done over a lifetime. They're infinitely more powerful than one massive effort that just leads to a crash. In our modern work culture, we have this toxic idea that burnout is some kind of badge of honor, like it's a sign of dedication. From this perspective, it's the absolute opposite. It's a flashing red light. It's a clear signal that we've lost our balance and drifted into a really dangerous extreme. So it's really important to remember one last thing. Finding the center isn't a destination you just arrive at and then set up camp forever. It's a constant journey. It's a continuous act of adjustment. And please, forget the idea that the middle is boring. In a world that is constantly trying to pull you to opposite poles, staying in the center requires incredible strength, discipline, and awareness. It's the source of profound stability in a very shaky world.
Because ultimately, the goal of this entire discipline is to achieve a state of inner justice and equilibrium. When you find your balance, you find your peace.
So I'll leave you with this question to really reflect on. Right now, in your work, your health, your relationships, your spiritual life, where have you maybe drifted to an extreme? And what's one small, consistent step you can take, starting today, to begin walking back toward your center?
Yeah. What do you think?
I think it's very nice and it
Yeah,
holds a very important message in our generation.
yeah,
His
which is what?
pronunciation to Arabic is funny, but yani, other than that, it's really good.
Yeah, it's amazing.
It's funny enough because I was
Yeah.
recently talking to my cousin who is a therapist and she deals with those who have bipolar. And
Mm,
her method of approach is to find the middle ground for those people who are dealing with the extremes. And she helps them find this middle ground so they don't drift off to negative or to extreme positive. Especially currently, also in our world where entrepreneurs are selling these ideas where you have to sacrifice everything to become something. And usually
mm,
they're the 1% of the people that make it out. And then you look upon the others, all of them are in debt or homeless or in complete regret, all just so they can tell you to buy a course. I think it's very important that we keep going back to these important principles and adjust our lives depending on them.
yeah, very well said. Yeah. Any other reflections on what we have just watched? A takeaway or two? Yeah, I'm sure you have a lot, but perhaps you're tired like me. Let's move on. Yeah. But perhaps before we move, I would like to ask you also about, yeah, again, this idea of having balance and being moderate and everything in between. Did we teach you this? I mean, the stuff that we have been teaching you, did this teach you? I mean, the idea of having novels that are polyphonic, having pieces of literary work that has also this idea of multiplicity of voices, stressing the fact that truth is not absolute and everyone is entitled to his vision and view of the world. As long as you're not hurting anybody, you're entitled to your view. Did literature teach you this? Did we teach you this? What do you think? Do you think this is one of the things that you are likely to take away with you from here? The idea of having this well-balanced outlooks on life, not um, embracing extreme positions. What do you think? And we're now talking about literature and the role of literature. Did it help you in any way, having those attitudes?
In literature, yes, especially
Mm,
as we are people who are from, let's say, Arabian society, and we're
mm,
exposed to Western ideas and ideals. So we're kind of a mix between the gray area where we are ourselves and our identity being exposed to the outsider world, where we have to maintain our own culture and our own identity against what we're reading. We have to maintain the middle ground and understand where they're coming from and where we are coming from. We can critique these books and analyze them. We can separate what the author is saying from what the book is trying to give the message for. Yes, definitely, reading has allowed us to be in the middle ground where we can analyze both sides without falling completely off the edge on either side.
Yeah. Okay. Noor?
Yes, Doctor, we benefit from our discussions and our readings for many great works like Shakespearean's work and um, for instance, for Little Women, also we saw the classes differences, how it will change people's life and what war can do to people. Back to Shakespeare, for him, he shows us how. They treat the Moroccan differently. And when Merchant of Venice, I'm sorry, Merchant of Venice, Venice, I took it before. I'm not sure
That's
that
fine.
Arab
That's
Open
fine now.
University. Yeah,
That's fine.
yeah,
I mean,
but
it's literature. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, those
Yeah.
works, yeah, show you religion differences or races
And even look
contribute
at
to
Othello.
how we treat
You
each other.
spoke about Shakespeare. Look at Othello.
Othello, yeah.
We all took Othello, and you have seen how Othello reacted to the um
Yeah, he was different in skin
the
color, in
alleged
race, and in,
infidelity of his wife. He was
yeah,
extremely jealous, and you know where he went with this kind of jealous. This is extremism. This is being taking stuff to extremes, right?
yes.
Obviously, the book or the play didn't endorse that, didn't promote this kind of attitude, right?
Yeah, because
Uh,
it's a tragedy and it will never end well. Yeah, like
mm,
Arabian movies and series. Yeah, when they show you that it's like a warning, big warning. No, be cautious. Don't follow this path like this.
yeah,
So literature is very has a
it's
very
full of
large
cautionary tales. We
message.
call them, yeah, cautionary tales. We call them cautionary
Yeah.
tales. Yes. That's interesting. So let's go to the novel that we're doing. Because it has a bit of what we've been talking about, this idea of I don't want to spoil it for people who are not very familiar with it. Um, I need somebody to come to the mic and give us an outline, or perhaps, I mean, give us the storyline, the plot, what happened, when, by whom, and let's keep the why to until later. Let's focus on the storyline. Those who have read the novel, those who are too familiar with the novel, if you would like to come and retell the story, we would be more than happy for that. Okay, so how about that? Let's unpack it. And again, we are all agreed on the fact that this is a novel, and typical of novels and typical of narratives, it has a number of elements. It has characters, it has a setting, it has a plot, it has, of course, themes, and it has a point of view, angle of vision. So let's talk about the plot. Who can come and give us the outline, the storyline? Who did what, when, and where? You guys said
Um,
that, yeah, go ahead.
can I?
Yeah.
So the story is narrated by a character who is a young girl called Cassie Logan, who is a
Mm,
part of the Logan family. and they are black landowners. It is set in the, I think it's 1930 Mississippi, but it was
Yeah,
during the Great Depression. It
yeah.
was just about the time where slaves were given their autonomy to a certain extent, and they were no longer slaves in that sense, but they are still inferior to economic and social statuses. Um, what happens is all set in one area. What else? Yeah, it's all happening in one set of area, and all these story follows the Cassie looking at learning what it's. She's like coming to an age where she's understanding what being black means against being white, because she's coming from a place of being naive. Her parents had kind of sheltered her from the ideas of what is actually happening, and she's slowly learning what it means to be black in a white society. Um, and how the community comes together to fight against the issues that they're facing. So it's kind of a victorious story in a sense, because they're not completely giving into what the white people are wanting out of them, but they're showing signs of resistance, and it is smart resistance.
And how is that Victorian?
Because they, when you're reading the story, you find this line appearing a lot, is that they could not break our spirit. And
And
throughout all this,
what is so Victorian about that? It's fun.
victorious, not Victorian.
I mean, you said Victorian.
Oh, no, no, victorious, I meant.
Okay, okay, nice. Okay, can somebody else take over and perhaps retell the story in a more coherent way? Because normally when Sufana, I mean, retells stories, she not confused, she mixes between, narrative and analysis. I know she has such a great analytic mind. That's why she sometimes she cannot help it. Um, who can give us the story? Those who attended with Dr. Arwa, because you guys have finished, right? So you know the story in and out. Okay. Noor, would you like to retell the story?
Yes, doctor.
Yeah.
But first, let me defend Savannah. She's a great help for all of us. Yeah,
No,
we love
I'm
her.
not.
So
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
she
But I know
knows
that
that
she
I'm
gives a deep
not.
analysis. Yeah,
Yeah,
I know.
I'm
Uh,
not undermining what she does. She knows, يعني,
yes, mashallah.
يعني,
God protect her.
she's, mashallah,
Yeah,
she's excellent. She
yeah,
knows that I'm not undermining her efforts. But,
yeah. Yes,
yeah,
yes, of course.
yes, yes.
So I think it's about this Logan family that they what I understood that they have a land, but they like it's they have to pay for the whites so they can own it entirely. They are working in it, but they are taking like tickets or credit to buy stuff with their working in this land. It means that they don't have their rights, their entire rights. It's either their land or it's not. So this is what.
They are not. I mean, they own the land, but it's not common. This is why people are looking, yeah, perhaps
Okay.
angrily at them. They don't believe, or they don't
And they have kind
find
of
it
debt
in their
for the
heart
bank.
to accept the fact that black people can have a piece of land, can own it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah,
Although it's about the Logans, but the main character, the most important character is TJ. He is someone who wants to follow white people and be really close to them, even because even if they are different in social class and in everything. And in that really sensitive time, when black people always treated very badly, so he was like. Is he an outcast or someone who is from? He is not like other people. He wants to make something different. He wants. He is aiming big. He wants to be rich too fast. He wants to have those rich people as like a backup for him. If something happened, they will protect him. He has those thoughts, and then Cassie and Stacy, they warned him, but he didn't listen, and that led to his downfall when everything went wrong, and he followed them, and they become robbers, and then. They blame him for a murder he didn't do. So that so we see how justice was then. It was always the black people fault, and they can even if they flirt with a woman, they will get punished a very big punishment like death penalty. So this is really harsh in the story. The author took this from her father and her grandfather. So it's like a true. It's like something that they lived in for a long time. The
Yeah.
racism and the injustice, and even TJ. We don't know what happened to him, but I heard so many people talking about it in YouTube that back then they have a death penalty for even kids. So maybe electric chair was his destiny. So it's very
Yeah.
harsh for a kid to just for a robbery.
Yeah. So this
Yeah,
was
that's it.
systemic racism. It's not individualistic or separate incidents like some people sometimes say. I mean, it's systemic. It means it's structural. It's part of the system. Murana, you're raising your hand.
Yes, I have a question about the in-class quiz tomorrow.
Not now. Not
Is it
now. Not now. Not now.
okay?
I thought you're going to answer something or perhaps give us your insights into what we're talking about. Ragad, go ahead.
The novel, I've really got interested on the way that the family, Logan, was for each other always, especially when the character, the mother, she was teaching in the school and lost her her job for standing against the school of the racist people,
Mm,
and this lead me to always think that the black people, I think, always stand for each other, especially for that time. As well, the daughter Cassie,
mm,
she was a protective to her brother. In addition, she was acknowledged for all the social the rule of her family, and that she knows everything about them and the land when actually she was at 9 years old. So this improved me for in this novel. Yes.
yeah, that's amazing. Thank you, Ragad. Thank you so much. Yeah, interesting. So this is as far as the plot is concerned, right? How about the characters? Let's talk about the characters and characterization. Do we have this rigid classification of characters into perhaps flat and round characters. I mean, round characters are characters that have this capacity for change. They change over the course of the novel. Flat characters are characters who are the epitome of a certain quality. If they are bad, they stay bad. If they are evil, they stay evil. Even if they are good, they stay good. And obviously, flat characters are not very interesting, right? Because this is not what human beings are. I mean, we have the good and the bad in us, right? And then there is always this room for, second chances and for, um, thinking, reflecting on what you do and change course and do stuff and reverse. Yeah, even though some people are very pessimistic, and they would say that we don't have Control Z in life, to use keyword or keyboard terms. Um, so let's talk about the characters and let's perhaps categorize them. Would you say that all the white people in the novel are bad, are flat characters accordingly?
No,
And
of course.
would you also say that all the black people in the novel, the black characters, are good,
As well, no.
right? So obviously having
Yes.
good, totally good or totally bad characters is not good literature, right? It loses the nuance that you normally that comes with this complexity of characters, right? Yeah, good. Okay. Let's talk about the point of view, the angle of vision, how the narrative is given. Do we have many narrators like we have seen with Voices in the Park, for example? Or is it given by one single
First,
character?
it's a single character first point of view
Mm,
for Cassie.
mhm. And how about this idea? Normally, when you have a child narrating, you normally say that this is unreliable. This is an unreliable narrator. Did you feel that you cannot really rely on her in whatever she says? You have to take whatever she says with a grain of salt because she's a child and she's overreacting or perhaps she's exaggerating. What do you think? Did you feel that with Cassie, the narrator, the nine? Is she nine? She's nine, right?
Yes.
Nine. Yeah.
I relied on her speech and her
Mm,
narrative because she describes the characters in a different way, not to take side with her
mm,
race people. Yes. Um, Especially for TJ, she
mm,
said that he's a naughty boy who doesn't listen. As well, she took side with the loyal. I think I don't remember. He was a white person,
mm.
so so she was uh, and smart and um, yes, she was a smart and relied on
Unreliable.
her.
Yeah, you
Yes,
you think that she, contrary to what people believe, you think that she was a reliable narrator. Yeah, that's
yes.
good, ya Raghav. MashaAllah, very, very active today. Very nice. Thank you, Raghav. Thank you so much. Any other insights into the characters and how you see them? Let's perhaps focus on the narrator now that we know that we have only one narrator, Cassie, the 9-year-old narrator. Did you feel that at one point she's perhaps making things up? She's biased in any way? Let's now move to the themes and ideas. Now that you have read the novel, or now that you have heard the novel, or heard somebody narrate the novel or retell the story, what do you think the ideas are? And obviously, the writer is giving a novel with perhaps a moral or two. She wants us to leave the novel with certain ideas. We take certain ideas with us. So, what are the ideas and the patterns that you felt repeated in the novel? When patterns gets repeated, we normally have a topic or a theme. What are the themes?
Coming
Guys,
of age.
the
That's أنا بنشوف أكبر حد يقول لنا، ودي طريقة كويسة نعرف فيها مين أكبر حد. We have
me,
رغد, we
doctor.
have
I'm 40. I'm 40.
yeah, like me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
good.
Okay.
So they should respect us. Respect me.
Um,
I mean. So
yeah, go ahead.
I'm the same age of their mother. So I should begin. So tyranny, the theme that keeps on repeating, um, racism.
Mhm.
Um, um, I think that some chapters was very violent, and
Violence. Yeah.
it's not for. I think that it's not for suitable for small kids. Like I think that it's more like for a teenager, maybe. So
Yeah, you mean,
yeah,
it's. Yeah, have you ever heard of epistemic violence? I would like you to check it up later. Epistemic violence. I mean, epistemic violence is normally exercised against minorities. I don't know whether I can consider women minorities, against women, against, blacks, natives of any kind. So we do have this kind of epistemic violence. We also have actual and physical violence, the violence that Noor is talking about, that is not perhaps appropriate for children, right? Yeah. So obviously, when you say that there is violence, this is not a theme, right? But when you talk about a specific kind of violence, like epistemic violence, that would be a theme because it's about discrimination, it's about prejudice and bias, it's about depriving people of the right to exercise their freedom, whether it's freedom of expression or on freedom to own lands. And yeah, Sufana, go ahead.
Epistemic violence focuses a lot on knowledge. So, can we also illustrate the example where the mother was fired from the school because she was telling the history as it was?
Yeah, perhaps she has um, uh, a different type of history. I mean, standard history is what the government is giving, obviously, right? She's giving us, I mean, a different type of history. History, we normally call it history from uh, perhaps from the bottom, history of the masses as given by the masses, by real people. It's not about, politicians and leaders and kings and queens. It's about people, real people, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, yeah, that's yeah, it's there. I mean, this idea of epistemic violence, and yeah, the mom's idea of losing her job because um, you know, she's giving something different. Yeah, this is violence. And it is epistemic because it's not actual, physical and corporal violence. Yes, that's correct.
Thank you.
Uh, you're welcome. And also the idea of solidarity when people get together and they unite against something oppressive and bad. Yeah, we have seen that. I mean,
Yes,
um,
boycotting, doctor.
yeah, yes, yeah,
When they boycott the family store.
yeah, that's true. Um, okay, I think I have a couple of, not couple, I think 3 or 4 videos, and I sent them to you. Did you have a chance to go over them, to watch them?
Yes, doctor.
Yeah. So how did you find them? Do they tell the
Very
whole
informative.
story? Yeah.
Yeah. They
Can
covered the
we,
most important aspects of the
yeah.
story.
Can we try 1 or 2 together and perhaps talk
Yes,
about
yes,
them?
of course.
Yeah. Wait. Yeah, let's do this one.
All right, let's dive into one of the most powerful stories in American literature, Mildred D. Taylor's Roll of Thunder, Hear My Cry. It's a book that asks a question that is, well, just as relevant today as it ever was. I mean, really think about that. When everything around you, the rules, the system, the people in power, are all designed to break you down, how do you find the strength not just to survive, but to keep your dignity, your self-respect? The story of the Logan family is their incredible answer to that question. Now, to really get the Logans, you've got to understand the world they're living in. We're talking rural Mississippi, 1933. And this setting, it's not just a backdrop, it's an active character in the story, and it's the villain. You've got the official Jim Crow laws, but then you've got the unofficial terror from groups like the Night Riders, men who enforce their own brand of twisted justice. It's a world where danger is always, always simmering just below the surface. And we see this whole world through the eyes of a 9-year-old girl, our narrator, Cassie Logan. It's through her that we start to learn the unspoken rules and the everyday injustices that are just a fact of life for her and her family. Just imagine this for a second. Every single day you walk to school, a bus full of kids speeds by, and it's not an accident. They deliberately swerve to splash you with mud and dust. It's more than just getting your clothes dirty. It's a daily calculated message meant to humiliate you, to remind you of your place. It's a small thing, but it's constant, and it's absolutely dehumanizing. And the injustice isn't just out on the road, it's right there in the classroom. When Cassie's little brother, Little Man, who is just 6 years old and so proud of being neat and clean, gets his first school book, he opens it up, and inside he finds a racial slur labeling him and his classmates. It's printed, right there, state sanctioned, in the one place that's supposed to be about opportunity. His pure, righteous anger, that's really the first spark of defiance we see from the Logans. So you might be asking, with all this stacked against them, what makes the Logan family so different? Why can they push back when so many others can't? Well, it all boils down to one thing. The one thing that equals power in their world: land. So let's meet this family. You've got Cassie, our fierce narrator. Her older brother Stacy, who's trying to figure out how to be a man in this world. And you've got their parents, the wise, principled papa, and the incredibly strong mama. But the real key here? Big Ma, the grandmother. She holds the deed to their land. They own it. In a community of sharecroppers, this is almost unheard of. It gives them a kind of independence that is so, so rare. And, as we're about to see, really dangerous. Papa says it all right here. This land isn't just dirt and crops. No way. It's their history. It's their freedom from having to answer to a white landlord. It's their dignity, made real and tangible. It is the one thing they will protect, no matter the cost. And because they have this foundation, this independence, the Logans don't just take the injustice lying down. They fight back. And it's fascinating to see how their acts of resistance start to build on each other. It really does start small. First, in the classroom, Mama takes paper and paste and quietly covers up the offensive slur in the textbooks. A simple act of dignity. Then the kids take it up a notch. They get their revenge on that bus by digging a huge ditch that traps it, breaking its axle. A secret act of sabotage. And from there, it grows into something huge. Mama organizes the entire black community to boycott the Wallace store, hitting the racist store owners right where it hurts, in their wallets. But, standing up like this always comes with a price. The Wallaces, who are on the school board, hear about the boycott. They can't fire Mama for that, so they find another reason. They fire her for teaching her students the real history of slavery, stuff that wasn't in their approved textbooks. And just like that, she's out of a job. It's a huge blow, a direct hit on their family's income, and it puts the land itself in danger. Okay, so this is the point in the story where all that simmering tension, all that building pressure, it just explodes. The distant thunder we've been hearing finally becomes a raging storm, and it's all set off by Stacy's friend, TJ. You see, TJ is a tragic character. He's desperate for attention, and he falls in with two older white boys. He's so naive, he actually thinks they're his friends, but they're just using him, setting him up to take the fall. And that's exactly what happens. They commit a robbery, frame TJ for it, and soon enough, a lynch mob shows up at his house in the dead of night. Their goal is terrifyingly simple. They're there to drag TJ out and kill him. No judge, no jury. They pull out a rope. This is real. This is happening. Papa Logan tries to stand in their way, but it's clear that talking is not going to stop this mob. The air is thick with hate, and violence feels just seconds away. And then, just when it feels like all hope is lost, something shifts. A glow appears on the horizon. The smell of smoke starts to cut through the night air. A fire, a big one, and it is spreading like crazy through the cotton fields. That fire changes everything. Suddenly, the mob's focus isn't on murder anymore. It's on saving their own property from going up in smoke. But as the sun rises and the smoke starts to clear, the true, heartbreaking cost of that night starts to come into focus. Here's the stunning twist. The fire wasn't an accident. It was Papa Logan. Faced with an absolutely impossible choice, watch a boy get murdered or do the unthinkable, he set his own cotton fields on fire. He sacrificed his family's livelihood for the entire year to create a distraction big enough to save TJ's life. He literally sacrificed the land to save a human being. And that one act brings the whole story together, doesn't it? The entire book is about the Logans defending their land, their freedom, their legacy, from the constant thunder of racism and injustice. And on this one terrible night, Papa had to use one to fight the other. TJ is saved from the lynch mob, but he's not free. The sheriff arrives and takes him away. And everyone knows, even though the white boys were guilty, TJ is the one who's going to pay the price. His life was saved, but his future is gone. It's just a tragic, bittersweet victory. And this is the last line Cassie speaks. It's the moment she finally fully understands the weight of everything that's happened. She's not just a kid anymore. She cries for TJ's lost future, but she also cries for the piece of their family's soul, that piece of land that they had to burn to survive. And that's where the book leaves us. There's no clean, happy ending. The fire is out, but the thunder, that threat of racism, is still rumbling in the distance. The Logans won a battle that night, for sure, but the bigger war for dignity and justice, well, that's far from over. It really leaves you wondering, what happens the day after the storm?
Yeah. More insights into the novel.
I
Did
like
this
the
It's
aspect
fast.
that
what? Go ahead.
go on Ragad.
What? You liked something,
لا
Sufan.
خلاص go Stefana.
I wanted to say that I like the aspect that they show the effect of racism on three different generations. So the grandmother, the adults, which is the father and the uncle
Mm.
and Aunt Mary, and then the children. So all of these together create this narrative and chain, and you see the effect of racism on each and every single one of them. So the grandmother's kind of don't do anything, don't protest, just protect yourself, keep your lives, and that's the most important part. While the uncles and the aunt, they want to do something, but they're still in the middle of figuring out what, while the younger ones are more forward with their protest.
Yeah. If anything, it would show you that racism is entrenched in society, and it also shows you that this is institutional. It's not separate incidents that we're talking about. This is structure. We call it part of the structure. And again, I would like to also comment on the old generation, and I would associate the what the complacency of the old generation to the idea of learned helplessness. So it's helplessness that they acquired over the years. Again, the second generation or the generation in the middle is yeah, yeah, and they sometimes you
Filled with
when you're
anger.
very young, you're challenging the system, but sometimes the system co-opts you into it. You become part of it. If you have a job with the government, if you, I mean, sometimes you get married and then you start to have kids and you care for the kids. You don't know what the future holds for them if you challenge the system. So obviously the third category, the kids or the young generation are the only ones who dare to say no, who challenge up to a moment when they also get married and they start to have duties and responsibilities. So again, I wouldn't focus more on those generations and how different they are. I would focus on the idea that the racism was structural, was systemic, institutional, and entrenched in the society. So that's why it would take a lot. It would take blood and energy and will and determination to kind of get rid of this systemic racism. And it doesn't obviously happen overnight. People go into struggles and resistance, and lots of people die in the process. Yeah, that's interesting. Any other interesting ideas? Okay, let's take a 10-minute break, and when we come back, we watch another video and then reflect on it and then call it a night. So I'll see you in 10 minutes, inshallah. I'm back. Are you guys back?
Yes, doctor.
Okay, good. Okay, so let's watch another video, and then we reflect on it, and then we call it a night. Let's look at this.
Mildred Taylor's classic novel, Roll of Thunder, Hear My Cry, is so much more than just a story. It's really a profound education in law and injustice, and we see it all through the eyes of a child. Today, we're going to unpack how this incredible book uses one family's struggle to explore a nation's broken promise. To really get into the world of this novel, we have to start right here, with this powerful truth from Martin Luther King Jr. You see, this isn't just some historical backdrop for the story, it is the story. It's the central problem the characters are living with every single day, and it sets the stage for a conflict that's way bigger than just a childhood adventure. The entire conflict, the story, is built on a massive contradiction. You've got the promise of American law on one side, and then the brutal reality for Black Americans in the Jim Crow South on the other. And this right here just captures that contradiction perfectly. On one side, you have the promise, right? The US Constitution, equality, guaranteed rights. But on the other side, that's the reality. Unjust local laws, the laws of Jim Crow, institutionalized racism, and a world where powerful people can pretty much do whatever they want with no consequences. This is the dangerous tightrope the Logan family has to walk every day. And our guide on this journey is Cassie Logan. She's so smart, she's feisty, and she's just trying to make sense of this completely broken world. The whole novel is basically her education, her personal quest to figure out what justice really truly means. So, how does Cassie's education in injustice get started? Well, it's not with some huge legal battle. Nope. It starts with the small, grinding humiliations of everyday life, starting with something as simple as getting to school.
Yeah, the first major lesson comes from the school bus. Every day, the Logan children have to walk to school. And every day, the bus for the white children intentionally speeds right past them, just covering them in dust or mud. It's a daily, deliberate act of disrespect.
And you know, it wasn't just an inconvenience, it was a cruel spectacle. As the novel says, the Logan children became comic objects to cruel eyes. Those laughing faces pressed against the glass, that makes this systemic humiliation feel incredibly personal. It's just gutting. So the Logan children, they decide to take matters into their own hands. They dig a ditch, the bus gets stuck, and for one brief, shiny moment, they get their own kind of justice. It's this amazing moment of childhood empowerment, a taste of what she calls well-maneuvered revenge. But that feeling of triumph, it vanishes. Because that very same night, the Night Riders, the clan, are out. And Cassie immediately connects their little prank to this terrifying presence. She learns a brutal lesson. Even a small act of defiance, a small taste of justice, can bring down terrifying, totally disproportionate consequences. The sweetness of revenge is instantly washed away by sick terror. But here's the thing. In this world of injustice, Cassie isn't alone. Her education is also shaped by these incredibly powerful forces of hope and resilience that are building her moral compass.
And this strength, it comes from a few places. First, they own their land, which was so rare and a huge source of dignity and independence in a world of sharecropping. They also have these incredibly deep family bonds and courageous parents who teach them their history, not as some story of victimhood, but as a story of survival.
And then you have Wade Jamison, a white lawyer. Cassie's observation here says it all. It's such a simple act of respect, just using the title Mrs. But in her world, that's revolutionary.
Jamison represents the idea of what the law could be: fair, respectful, and maybe, just maybe, an ally. But the novel pushes even further. It asks, what happens when allies aren't enough? What happens when the legal system just completely and utterly fails? This is where we meet the tragic figure of T.J. Avery.
To really understand TJ's role, we need this concept, the scapegoat. You know, when a community's rage needs a target, it will find one, usually the most vulnerable person around, to pin all the blame on, whether they're guilty or not.
And TJ is the perfect scapegoat. He's desperate for acceptance, so he falls in with these two older white boys who are just using him. They talk him into helping with a robbery, and when it goes wrong and one of them kills the white store owner, TJ becomes the convenient, easy person to blame for everything. His vulnerability is just cruelly taken advantage of. This brings us to the climax of the story. TJ gets captured, and the formal legal system, the courthouse, all of that becomes totally irrelevant. A lynch mob forms, and the question of justice moves outside, into the dark of night.
So the crucial question becomes this: how do you stop a lawless mob? A mob that has zero interest in trials or evidence or actual justice. A mob that's driven purely by rage and racism.
Wade Jamison, our symbol of the just law, he tries. He literally stands in front of the mob and appeals to reason and the legal process, but it's useless. His words are completely powerless against their violence. At this moment, the law has failed.
And this is the stunning paradox at the very heart of the book. To stop a lawless mob, Cassie's father, David Logan, has to do something lawless himself. He sets fire to his own cotton field, the very thing that gives his family its dignity and its survival.
The effect is immediate, it's brilliant, and it's desperate. The mob's goal shifts instantly from lynching to survival. Suddenly, the fire is threatening everyone's land, white and black, and it creates a new common enemy. It forces them all to work together, and it just completely diffuses the mob's concentrated rage.
So the fire's put out, and TJ is saved from the mob. For now, at least. He's still taken to jail. But the most profound part of this whole story is the unspoken lesson that Cassie learns from this night.
She's the one who figures it out. She understands the immense sacrifice her father just made, risking his land, his family's entire future. And in that moment, she learns that the law is fragile, and that sometimes getting any kind of justice requires a terrible, lawless price. This final realization is just such a heavy burden. It's a truth so dangerous and so complicated that it can't even be spoken aloud within the family. It's this silent, shared understanding of the brutal choices you have to make to survive in an unjust world. It's the final and most difficult lesson in her education.
And that leaves us with the central question of the novel, doesn't it? A question that goes far beyond the pages of this book. When the very systems designed to protect you are the source of your oppression, what does justice truly demand?
All right, let's dive in.
Yeah, a lot, a lot to process, right? Okay, so I would
Yes,
like you
doctor.
to, yeah, that's fine. Um, I would like you to kind of, I mean, I think you have the playlist, kind of look at them, watch them, and we can keep the conversation going. And we're meeting anyway. For my class, we're meeting, and also other people from other classes are also invited. We have a class tomorrow, at 10. Is it 10? Yeah, it's at 10 a.m. inshallah. Until then, I wish you all the best. Let me just, before we go, tomorrow, inshallah, we will have today actually. Is it today or tomorrow? No, tomorrow.
Tomorrow, the quiz activity?
Yes, yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
it's tomorrow.
In the in class activity is at 6, and we intend to have those who haven't or who have missed any of the in-class activities, we will have all of them tomorrow at 7 p.m. Okay, and the system will be
7 or
open.
6?
What? Excuse me?
7
7.
or 6?
Six is for the regular in-class activity.
Okay.
Seven for those who haven't done any of the one or two. I mean, obviously
Okay,
they
I'll inform
cannot.
them.
Yes.
I'll
So this is it. On this note and with this item, we'll come to the end of today's masterclass, and I'll see you soon, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you,
Thank
doctor.
you, doctor.
Doctor,
What? Yeah, go ahead.
doctor, please, is it gonna be only about Roll of Thunder?
And also, I think it's one. Yeah, one is about picture books in general, and the other is on the Roll of Thunder. Yes. Yeah.
Doctor,
Hi. Yes. Go ahead.
can I talk to you after the class, please, if you have time?
Yeah. Yeah. Of course.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I think we're done. You guys may leave because Haya wants to say something to me. Let me stop the
Thank you,
recording
doctor.
too. You're welcome. Bye bye.